Today's show is sponsored by Supreme Lending, and I'm Milton Ali.
And I'm Hampton Skurlock.
And we want to welcome you to the Investor Tribe podcast.
Late night grind, got the cash in the flow. Flipping these dreams, watch the portfolio grow. Brick by brick, stacking wealth in the zone. Investor Tribe, obs where the hustle is home.
From the streets to the spreadsheets, we've got Thomas Bellingham on the pod.
Let's talk about that. You know, Tom is the big homie. You know what I'm saying? He is he's a good friend of the tribe, and he's a realtor with Keller Williams Louisville East, celebrated for his deep knowledge of Louisville's neighborhoods and commitment to his clients. Known for his integrity and results-driven approach, he combines strong negotiating skills with a passion for helping other people find homes and find their place in the city. Tom, welcome to the pod.
Holy cow. Thank you, guys. Hampton, Ali, I can't thank you enough for having me on air today. From this, listen, man, I got to stop. I hope this isn't an interrupt your flow, but from the streets to the spray, who came up with that?
Oh,
maybe our producers.
Yeah, our producer. So our producers give us cool things to say.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you leave it up to us, you probably
I would hate for what you guys would have thought of, but that was incredible. So, you know, and you guys know I'm very unfiltered, right? So I'm very direct. I don't mind telling my story, but yeah, literally from the streets to the spreadsheets. And the hardest part, guys, is the spreadsheets, believe it or not.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The streets, I understand a little bit, right? I understand that word a little bit, but putting some polish on.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
Can't wait to learn.
And so describe the vibe you get from Louisville's neighborhoods and what sets them apart for you.
Oh, my gosh, it's incredible. So when I first moved here, I said, I'm going to move toward the South End. Like, just driving around, you start looking at things that look familiar. So, like, the South End, West End look very normal to me. And all my friends in college, some trust fund things, got to be honest, I'm not shaming them, but it's like, dude, everything's got to be out east. You got to go out east. I'm like, why? I'm like, I can go get an apartment for $250. They're like, yeah, but you might have a crackhead sleep. I'm like, who cares? He's probably a nice guy, right? So
you know what's super cool is that we're not from here, right? Yeah. So when I first moved here, I was living off of Hurstbourne Lane and you know, closer to the studio, right? So my wife and I would go to Walmart or go to Kroger and all that. So I drove around Walmart, and I drove around about 3 or 4 times, and then I left the Walmart parking lot and I went to a Kroger parking lot, and I drove around 3 times, and I said, hey, we can't go, we just can't shop tonight. And my wife was like, why? We just left Walmart. Why did you leave Walmart to go? I understand you may wanted to go to a different market, but why are you driving around? I said, well, hey man, I counted 5 police cars. There's a problem going on inside of the supermarket.
Something's going down.
Yeah. So we got a jet. I don't want to be here for this. There's 5 police cars in the market.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, there's a problem.
Right.
I did not know. I had no idea the police drove their cars home and used them as personal vehicles.
Yeah,
I had zero idea.
Right.
It was a foreign concept coming from Detroit. So I'm just like, that's a foreign concept. You see 4 or 5 cars anywhere.
Hey,
something's going down.
Something is literally going down.
Just like the day you see somebody run, I'm not asking questions. I'm calling.
No, I'm calling. So it's a little bit of a culture shock living here, and I agree with you. South End, land of the free.
Love it.
Like it's absolutely amazing. And so so from a standpoint of how you navigate around the neighborhoods and how you're providing a lot of guidance and expertise for people, sure. How do you negotiate all that?
Man, I love that. So just like life, right? Trial and error.
Okay.
So when I first moved here, I left Okinawa, Japan, and I went home to Pennsylvania for a few months. I was there for a few weeks, and I packed up and I moved here. This is circa 2000. We had Tom-Toms. I'll go back to that. We had Tom-Toms and some Magellans. And I was lucky to even have one. My dad gave me an old one. It was outdated and didn't give me the right maps. But I was using MapQuest and atlases, right? For anybody listening that understands like atlases and true maps, like paper crunch. And I'm like, so I drove from Pennsylvania down here to Louisville. And I failed my way around the city. I'm like, I'm never going to figure out where to go. True. Speaking of Kroger, I went to Kroger. Some buddies of mine were having some beers or going by the pool. And they said, man, pick up some pizza and come by the pool. I said, okay. So I went and got my $2, $3, and I got some of those little Totino's pizzas, and I got like 4 or 5 of those jokers, right? And they were frozen. By the time I got there, they were melted. He's like, Mason's like, I'm not eating this shit. The cheese is probably all rotten. I drove around the city for 2 hours trying to get from St. Matthews to Anchorage. That tells you anything. Yeah. I was on the freeway. I was all over Beverly Hills, man. I was all over this place.
Hey there, I'm Gary Settle with Supreme Lending. With 20 plus years in the banking and financing industry, I'm here to help you accomplish your dreams with respect to buying a home. A primary residence, a vacation home, or an investment property. You can come to me with confidence and know that I can find the best thing to fit your needs. So, how do you connect? Call me. My cell phone number is 502-298-1356. Also text that number, 502-298-1356, Monday through Sunday. Let me help you accomplish your goals and your dreams.
For all those listeners out there who were born after 2000, a map is a piece of paper. Right. It unfolds, and you could see where you are roughly and follow these little squiggly lines, which were roads, and a lot of them didn't have their names on them. The main roads may have the names on them, but a lot of the small back roads wouldn't. So you kind of wiggle your way around town, try to get where you're going to go. Sometimes it take you 2 hours to get across town to have some beer or eat some pizza with your friends. Man. But MapQuest was a website. It would give you line by line direction where to turn and where to go. But if there was a detour or a bridge was out or something, you were just screwed because you like, I don't know where I am.
Well, what you did is you roll out the window and you talk to people, right?
Sometimes.
And then you say, hey, man, I'm trying to get through here. Where am I going to go? And, well, go down a couple miles this way. And yes, but people, that's one thing about Louisville. People were engaging when I got here, and people still are. I love the city. Yes. Right? So you roll down your window and talk to a stranger. I go back home. It's like, I can roll down like 2 inches. Hey, man, where's it? I'm not talking to you. But people are a little bit more cold up north than they are down here.
So evaluate this statement. Up north, people are not friendly. However, they can be inviting. Down here, people are friendly and not inviting. Here's what I mean by that. I can get money with you if we're up north.
Yeah.
And now it's like we're cool. Right. Because we're on a mission together. But initially, I'm not friendly with you at all.
I'm throwing up those brick walls. I'm
not friendly with you at all. But once there's a rationale for a relationship, we're cool now.
Bring me purpose. Bring me purpose of why I'm going to spend my time in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
But I love the way you flipped that and said, they're inviting. Say that again.
So
they're warm but not inviting.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're not coming to my fancy
but
show.
Not friendly.
Yeah.
But then there's friendly and not inviting.
We're dressing up, going to the all white bastard, the swanky place at the country club. I'll hang out with you over here, but I'm not going to put you in this environment with me. Does that make sense? So that's something I've experienced where trying to call it what it is, upper crust or different classes of people. I actually did a podcast a couple years ago. Called class jumping. A lady was doing it. She's out of Chicago, and she's like, "Do you think you class jumped?" And I was like, "What the hell does that mean?" But to your point, being invited, right? But or being warned, but not being invited to the country club to the big ball, right? You got to make sure that you know which side of what fork you eat off of and what spoon you eat off of. Like I didn't go to finishing school, bud. I didn't go to finish it.
That's all Hampton's expertise.
We got a name like Hampton.
That's all Hampton's. Think about the name called Hampton. Like if somebody's calling you, the third?
Bow down.
Oh my gosh. Clearly, when someone says they're Hampton, when someone says they're Hampton,
the third.
The third.
And it's got a nice ring to it, except for when you're like 8 or 9 years old, you lose your front teeth, and you can't say the, and you say tuh, so I was Richard Hampton Skurlock the Turd. Oh. And my neighbor, who's 80 plus years old, still lives next to my parents, still calls me the Turd. He jokes and thinks it's hilarious. So it's been a running gag with him for 40 plus years.
I'm thinking Hampton, Virginia.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking.
See, there you go. But Hampton Road.
We were talking about taking turns and getting directions. I know my wife is from the country. I'm a city boy, but they're very warm out in the country in Kentucky. And sometimes you don't get cell phone signal, and you'll lose signal, and you have to ask for directions, and they they are very warm and they're friendly, and they're going to tell you, turn by where the old barn used to be. And you're like, the old barn used to be, it's gone. I'm not going to. But they give you some very interesting directions when you're in the backwoods of Kentucky, and you can get lost for a long
I probably
time.
expect you to know.
Yeah, that's so true.
They may, but there's a lot of stuff to keep up with, and running a small business is hard, and you shouldn't have to be an editor, an actor, a brand strategist too. Our friends at Bespoke Marketing, they help you look great while doing the things that you do best. Visit them at bespokemarketing.org. Bespoke Marketing, connections tailor-made.
Let's talk about a time, because we're both realtors, so realtor gang in the house, so we, love that. And talk about when you had a deal take a surprising turn.
Sorry, man. I know this is your recording. I just got chills and a little choked up about this. And I'm very real. Like when I first started this off, I don't have much of a filter. So about 3 years ago, right? Real estate's going good. I have a client that had 32 properties. 27 properties.
Right.
Let's keep 27 properties. We're going to sell for north of $1 million. And he said, I'm ready to sell it. So I went out and did the work. Had both sides of it.
Okay.
Had both sides of it. Someone says, cash, we're closing in 10 days. He signs the contract. We get to about 2 days before closing. He says, I'm not selling. So what do you mean not selling? and I'm going to stop it right here. I'll tell you right now, I didn't have a buyer's agreement. I didn't have any listing agreements. All I had was a paper contract. And so I owned it. I wear it. Because I was going through a time I was ascending, okay, great, this is another $1 million deal. This is giving me $60,000 in my pocket. Now I'm having a nice little level set base, and I'm going to get ready to fly. I'm getting ready to perpetuate. I just bought a house, built the house with a girl. Life was happening, and then it stopped, and that crushed me mentally, emotionally. I'm telling you, bro, I cried for 3 days, shook at home. So that took a big turn. And I'm telling you, as I sit here now, you've known me for what, 7, 8, 9, 10 years now? How much have you seen me in the last couple of years? I just came back to East. I was ducking out, because that tripped me up for a little bit. I'm like, I failed in the most miserable way. It affected my son's school. It affected bills. It affected what I was doing. It affected my story. It was affecting my show. Talk about being like an actor. It affected my show out in the streets of real estate. Yeah, that's very raw and real right now. But I bounced back from it, and here I am, taking shots and still standing.
Definitely appreciate you sharing that, man. I think there's a misconception about how real estate agents even get paid remotely close, right, to how they get paid. You're thinking about how, on a fundamental level, we are only attached to one outcome, and that is when business transact. That's when property transact. Everything else doesn't really matter. There's no consolation prizes in this business. For investors, we're only we're benefiting when there's something that's happening. We don't benefit from the research. I don't benefit from showing you property. It's just leaning towards that one outcome. There isn't any, and I'm not gonna say it's a zero-sum game, because there's room for all of us to thrive. At the same time, that is a real dynamic that I think people don't understand. And I don't want to ever play with someone's life. Now, due diligence is due diligence, right? So I can, look at any type of deal, and now you start digging into the numbers. Now we have a separate conversation. Okay, it's due diligence now. We're noticing that things aren't as they appear, and that's a separate conversation to have as far as why I'm pulling out or why I'm walking away. At the same time, though, it is people, are looking to either sell for their purposes or purchase or buy for their own purposes. Appreciate you sharing that, man. I mean, really good. There's something special about helping people find home in this city, Louisville. What's that for you?
No, I love it. Again, I get chills. And let me go back to what you were talking about a minute ago, just real quick. But trading that time, putting that work in, there's no consolation prize. right? And but I was so honored and flattered and just floored that you guys even asked me to be on here. When you did, I thought, jumping at this chance. Usually this is my lead gen time, man. You know what? People say, well, I do from 9 to 12. I do from 9 to whatever they do. I like that lunch to like the 2 to 3 hour.
Oh, good.
And we'll get it another time. I want to take up time here, but there's a special reason why I do my lead gen from like 10 to 2 every day, right in the middle of the day. But when I had the opportunity to be here with the Investor Tribe, to me, it was worth it. I feel like I'm cheating on myself by not making my lead gen calls now. But for you guys, it didn't matter. Like I quit real estate just to hang out with you all, man.
Well, we're gonna give you. You'll get a plug. People recognize you from this, and they're gonna recognize you for being out in the community. And I know you work with athletes. You work with celebrities. I mean, who do you enjoy working with, or what types of people are you targeting when you're doing your lead gen? Who's your ideal?
People that love Louisville. So to Milton's questions, those neighborhoods, from starting it like learning to get lost in the south end of the West End to understand where Anchorage is and St. Matthews and now like Eastwood and like the Far East. I've just been around so long and have just been in the crux of like nasty, grimy deals to the elegance of selling NFL players homes out in the East End, right. Selling properties out in eastern part of the state in Hampton, Kentucky, like selling multi-million-dollar farms and being a part of that. So I've got to just learn by doing, right? Learn by taking that shot. And a lot of it was just by lack of education. Someone saying, hey, go chase this investor down. So I didn't mind going down to West End, but getting just to be in part with the people of the community, you just get to learn, right?
And a lot of that comes natural for you. I noticed that your hands are in a lot of different things, and it's super cool to be able to talk to you about so much. Like every time we would chat, I'll see you in the office, or we'll be out in the street, and you're either working on a deal or you're working on something different, and that's super cool. But before real estate, life looked a little different. Kind of tell us a little about that.
Man, it did. So I'm involved in the Keller Sports and Entertainment.
Okay.
So that deal I talked about that fell apart, that was going to quote unquote make my career like launch. When that fell apart, I almost quit real estate, man. I was going to go back to coaching football.
Okay.
I thought, man, I just failed. Like it just crushed me. I was embarrassed, ashamed, all the things.
And you played at U of L, right?
Yeah, I was a walk-up for John L. Smith in 2001 and 2.
Oh, sweet.
And that's what I started drawing from. I said, well, how am I going to reset myself? So I have some friends, Jordan Stewart and Jason Ross. They're Keller Williams respectively out of DC and Florida. But they started a community called Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment. And I thought, man, if I'm going to get back into football, let me keep real estate and I'm going to dive into sports entertainment. So about 3 years ago, introduced to that. So when you say I'm involved with it, I am involved. So I talk to more agents around the country than I do sometimes investors or potential buyers or sellers. We can get into that down the road, but what I did was draw from what I did before real estate. So to your question, Hampton, was I used to coach football. So when I got in the Marine Corps, lived above a bar called the Granville Inn, lived upstairs, worked downstairs. I walked on the football team, did all the things, but I'd be straight up honest. I partied my way right the hell out of it. I was doing the Naval Reserves, but yeah, I had too much going on at one time.
You're not the only one who partied out. Okay.
So I ended up coaching. I went to Christian Academy in Louisville. I spent 2 years there. I got fired my second year, halfway through the season. They wanted me to sign a no alcohol waiver policy. So I ain't doing it. I was bartending. So I was still bartending, saving up money for a wedding ring. So I said, I'm not going to sign it. They said, well, why not? Just sign it and go on. I said, because I have integrity. I said, I'm not going to sign your little paper saying I'm not going to drink alcohol, be around it when I'm going to do that. And I'm not going to try and just get around it. So I said, I'd rather die on this hill. So the blessing in disguise was I got a call the next day that said, hey, do you want to come over and do some video? So I took a free job, meaning like for 2 years, I volunteered for Bobby Petrino. I worked 3 years with Cragthorpe and then a year with Charlie Strong. So I worked 2 years free, getting up at 4 a.m, spending hours upon hours in mat drills and videotaping practices, breaking down film.
Oh, you were an analyst.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Gotcha.
So being able to look at offense, defense, special teams. Same thing in real estate. Looking at the play. So he's talking about the due diligence. You got to do your due diligence. Run your perform on a spreadsheet. Hampton, you're not going to buy anything without knowing the numbers, right?
And a backup plan, exit strategy, and a backup plan to be
just like football. You're not going to call a play in the huddle without knowing contingencies or checks at the line, or know what the defense is going to do. What are they going to check in and out of? Right. I was coaching football, taking some jobs, doing a little bit of hustling here and there, and then flipped a few houses, got my license, the circumvent commissions. Then the phone started ringing. And so here we are today, almost 10 years later.
Managing real estate can be complicated. Get one thing off your plate and contact our friends at Liberty Mutual for great rates. Click the link below or call 1-800-266-0644 and mention Milton Ali KY 444-689 for your free quote today.
I think Milton may have a little eligibility left. I don't think you get a
100 push-ups a day at 9 years old. He's ready to go.
Yeah, man.
If you're out any other place, we look at a 50-year-old freshman. Can you kick field goals? What can you do? He's got a jumper and a crossover.
So I think that I would be, first round draft pick for Waterboy.
Ooh. Sponsored by
that high quality H2O. I can make sure that the water is nice and cold for everybody. I think that no one's better.
Yeah.
Okay. No one's better. But so how is your take? Your take on how Louisville is changing is fascinating to me. So just kind of help us understand that.
Louisville certainly has changed, right? So just like any city has changed. We went through almost like a perfect storm, right? We had COVID. Then we had Breonna Taylor. We can get into some of the socioeconomics of this thing. Dynamics, better word.
Yeah.
But Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, all these folks that were global people that, I don't know how do you say sensitive or not.
Louisville became a hotbed.
Man, again, chills run down my spine thinking about this. Everything has it's broken the city. I think at some point there's some people really broken about this. And whatever cause, I don't think Louisville is a city that's going to remain divided. I think it has been divided in the past, but city of Louisville has been such a compassionate city. I know that's been thrown around quite a bit, but it really is, because look at us sitting here now, right? Talking about something that's so tragic that has brought so many together also. Now, there's their own fights within that, but Louisville's changing because it's growing. If it wasn't growing, people wouldn't care about the city. Let me back up. If people didn't care about the city, it wouldn't be growing, right? So it would just be a deathbed city, and it's not. You have the West End. Portland's growing. Gil Holland, who's putting so much time into the Portland, buying up property to develop it. If you ever go on the city website, don't go look at all the social media bashing stuff. Look what the city's doing for the area, the Kentuckian area, the bridges that are connecting Southern Indiana and Kentucky. Just grow. It's such a thriving area.
And there's a lot more to come with that waterfront redevelopment. They put in a nice park. There's some commerce going in. There's the city's bought up some more property, and they have millions of dollars dedicated to that project. And it's coming. It's gonna.
Even going out east, if you've read about the East End or Eastwood Annex, where they want to annex and be like a J-town. So the more it goes towards Simpsonville, and the more Frankfurt and Wadi Patonia start coming towards Shelbyville, we're so connected to the Lexington and Frankfurt and Shelbyville and Wadi Patonia. 64. I was driving up down there the other day. It's expanding, right?
Oh, when we first moved here, it looked like farmland.
It was farmland.
It literally was farmland. Yeah, it was farmland. Now it's complete development, houses. A lot of these houses are not even 20 years old. About 15 years old, some of these houses are. And it's just absolutely amazing to see all of the development and a lot of it. One of the things that I teach and tell, when I'm communicating with buyers and sellers is that you got places like LaGrange, you got places like Shelbyville that are going to be the size of Middletown in the next 5 to 7 years. And you're seeing so much development around the city, and it's a pretty cool thing to witness.
It is.
And it's spreading throughout. I mean, it's exciting for a lot of people. I know there's been some projects in Old County that were voted down, but then another city came in and grabbed up the data center. And, it's a lot of this business and growth is staying in Kentucky, and it's exciting. And what are some things? I know you're a high energy guy, but what's exciting to you? What's that spark that gets you going every morning and out there, pounding the pavement and working and passionate about real estate?
The challenge. It really is.
Okay.
It's the challenge. As long as I have energy and blood going through my body, I want to win, like personally. But I know that someone out there needs help. And my MAPS coach from Keller Williams, Chris Montoya, taught me this. He said, Thomas, he said, you're a servant. He's like, this is when I was stuck, right? This is when I was broken down. He says, you're a servant. Go help somebody. Somebody's going through a divorce right now. They need your expertise because you went through it. Not that I'm proud of it, but it's just what it is, right? Someone needs your compassion. Somebody needs that grit, poor white trash kid from the other side of the tracks that's going to kick some ass for them and help them find a new home for their kids. He said, go help somebody today. And that's what really gets me up, man. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not a spreadsheet guy. Like, I'm learning spreadsheets. But again, I love this, man, like streets of the spreadsheet. I take that street mentality, and I'm not degrading myself by any means, but that tough, hard-nosed kid, and I'm putting that into the polish. I could put a suit on, man, but
I've never seen you in a suit. Oh my God.
Check my social.
Never seen and so what's so cool is to have you here with us today, man. I think we can continue this talking for the rest of the day, but one of the things what would you tell someone what would you tell yourself from 3 years, from 5, 7 years ago, when you were dealing with the things and sharp turns? And our audience are investors, people that are looking to be an investor. What would you tell them, and how would you help them be motivated to continue on their journey?
Well, two parts. What I heard in that, what I tell myself is do it again.
Okay.
Do it again. Lace them up, get on the field, and go play again, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get knocked down. Knowing you're going to get knocked down again, do it again. Just find a way not to get knocked down the second time, repeating the same mistakes.
Right.
If you're wanting to get into this industry, attach to guys like yourselves, right? To Hampton, right? I can't say this as shiny as you, but
Right.
But attach to guys who've been doing it, right? Because what you find in this industry are the people that have gone before you and that have done it. So many people willing to help. And I'm not talking just from the education. People that have money, right? One thing Gary Keller always explained, and something that stuck with me, even if you don't have money, somebody else does. You find a deal that makes sense, somebody's going to bring you the money. So don't let that be a hurdle. Get up with the people that are aligned with you morally, ethically, principles, right? The principalities of this thing. You know I took that from Friday, right?
I dig that. I know.
You know I got to take it.
We're here. We're here.
But you're just aligning with those right people. So searching out like guys like the Investor Tribe or those that are out there. Get in community, get in groups, Facebook groups. You can find them all over the place. And ask questions. And don't be afraid. Ask questions because you don't know. Then you ask somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can ask us, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, X at INV Tribe. Probably come to Spotify, maybe iHeart pretty soon. We're also going to be adding a video library, a lot of forums to the Investor Tribe website, which we may talk to you about shooting a video or two on there. But go there, you ask us questions. Also, there's topics you want to hear, videos you want to see us do. Let us know. Reach out to us at Milton at invtribe.com or Hampton, Hampton at invtribe.com. We look forward to your comments, your questions, your stories of encouragement, your successes, and just keep plugging away. There'll be peaks and valleys, but we're here for you. We're stronger as a group. We're a tribe. We're in it. We're here to help. I want to thank you so much, Thomas, for coming out today and talking with us. We're very blessed to have you here. Is there anything else we need to cover other than doing our sign out today, Milton?
INVtribe.com is the place for you to join the tribe. I think it's so important for you to join the tribe, sign up on our website, and you'll have a lot of resources that can help you on your journey. I'm Milton Ali.
And I'm Hampton Scurlock.
And we'll catch you on the flip side of the Investor Tribe.
The Investor Tribe podcast is brought to you by the Investor Tribe, all rights reserved, featuring Hampton Scurlock and Milton Ali, executive producer Drew Cookenmaster, produced and distributed by Bespoke Marketing.